chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Good evening, hello, welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. The second game of the season concluded with a win. Still unbeaten this season. Partway through August. That's a success in my book so far. We will look back at a bit of a Port Vale game, look ahead to the second round draw, which has been done, and then we will look ahead to Saturday in what the rest of the world will be billing as a huge game between two relegation threatened teams. We'll see. Mick will not be buying into any of that nonsense, will you, Mick?
I certainly will not.
How do I know? And Danny is back with us today, having spent all day in the sun working. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm doing all right. I was very smart. I used my sun cream. And I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but I've got a nice tan coming on my arms and my legs, so I'm loving it.
This is one of the episodes, if you look back at it towards end of the season, you'll think you're a really nice tan, but then you'll be completely white again.
Oh, yeah. I'm fully expecting like December, January time just to be like a ghost heading into uni with like dark rings under my eyes. And it's like, look at me in August, you know. Right, well.
Yeah. So, we've got the scan report will return as we are speaking to a Reading fan about finding out a bit more about what to expect from them on Saturday. All sorts of previewing nonsense towards that one. Let's build up the Carabao excitement as we've won in the first round. Ben's not here to hear this stat, which is disappointing, but we can all confirm that Port Vale still haven't won at home in the League Cup since 2015 after we beat them 2-1 at their place. Fairly routine, Mick, to be honest with you. I mean, we made it a bit more difficult for ourselves at the end, but at the end of the day, it's many changes, and we're still through.
Yeah. I mean, up to about 80 minutes, it never looked in danger, did it? And then, obviously, we allowed them to get one back. So it were a little bit not hairy, but anxious that we could get to full time without having to go through all the rigmarole of penalties and everything else. So it's nice to get some minutes under the belt of some of the they're not fringe players, are they? Let's be fair. No. They're all likely to start at some stage during the season. So, but it's getting minutes in legs after Sunday's game were postponed. So it'll do, won't it? It'll do.
Well, we've got the comments. Harvey Kelwick's with us in the comments. Gav Grundy, Chris Sanderson, Paul Barnfield, Sean Green. John Morell asks, evening gents, were you the only championship team to actually win against the lower league opposition?
Yes,
we won, and Blackburn beat Hartlepool.
Oh.
I think those are the only two teams. There's about 13 or 14 teams that went out to lower league opposition in the championship.
Madness.
Which is unheard of. But maybe, Danny, and this is a tangent, but maybe this is just clubs seriously not taking this competition seriously. I don't think they have in the past, to be honest with you. But this is a bit of a clear sign that they're just not bothered.
Yeah, we're quite clearly winning cup, aren't we?
Obviously. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know. It seems to be club ideology may play a part in it, because Warney has said that he does like a cup run, and that I think we were just more up for it because we hadn't played Sunday, so it's like, right, we could try and get first win here and get a bit of confidence in it. And same with Blackburn, to be fair. I mean, Blackburn have started well this season. Good win for them in the cup, and it's just a carry on of momentum for them, really. And for us, it could be a start of momentum, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's always nice to have a cup run. We're one round short of the big boys, if you like, coming into it. But unfortunately, we've drawn Morecambe, and the last time we played Morecambe in this cup, we won 5-4. Funnily enough, at New York Stadium. So, well, not worst draw in Wales. You could have done what I did and forget that it was split north and south, and it came out with Stevenage first, and then number 24, which was our number in the northern draw, and then kick off that we've drawn Stevenage away, only to realise that number 24 in the southern draw was Peterborough. So that wasn't my proudest moment, but Yeah. Oh, well.
To be fair to Peterborough,
it will laugh for everybody else, so that's fine.
For Peterborough, other than the fact they've got Darren McAnthony, I don't like as a chairman, they are very much the Rotherham of the South, aren't they? I know they're not very far south, but they're very much us, aren't they? They go up in Championship a few times, have a bit of fun. They're not a massive club. Other than Darren McAnthony, they're pretty likeable. Don't know. Anyway, we're going to take a break from the Carabao and we're going to jump ahead and preview the Reading game on Saturday. So on the other side of this jingle, we will have Jacob, who's going to tell us all about Reading. We'll see you in 15 seconds. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for joining us. How's it going?
Hello. Thank you for having me. You're very hospitable. And I've already had the dubious privilege of speaking to Mick last night.
And I didn't upset anybody. I didn't say you deserve to relegate or anything like that.
Yeah.
I tried to be as nice as I possibly could.
You know what, Mick? You behaved yourself. You're a gentleman. You know, you're getting rave reviews on the Twitter. No. I'll be honest with you, lads. I've just been frantically editing what Mick and I conjured up yesterday. I got about 80% of the way through and then deleted it all. So I'm a bit frazzled, a bit warm. But yeah, no, happy to be here. Happy to answer any questions you guys have got about your opposition for the weekend. So.
Well, so you're from, I just cover everybody know, you're from Elm Park Royal. So if anybody wants to get the Reading side, if they want to listen to more of you guys, but there's a preview, just let everybody know where they can find that. And I assume it's the usual podcast places.
Yeah, that's right. So we're on everything. Our reach is far and wide. So if you go onto our Twitter, Elm Park Royals, that's at Elm Park Royals on Twitter, you'll find a link to all of our stuff. We just put up our preview from yesterday, and you can listen to all of Mick's insight as well. So.
Everybody loves Mick's insight on this show. To be
fair. Oh God,
yeah. This season, our clubs have something in common, and that everybody is convinced that we're both going to go down. It seems.
Yeah.
How is the Reading's view of that wider view?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, we're kind of at this point, kind of reveling in the fact that everyone's written us off, because before the transfer window open, I think the majority of Reading fans as well were probably in the camp of, okay, this is the year that we're finally done for, because we've had to patch together the squad again almost from scratch. We've been battered by the whole financial impropriety side for so long. And we've lost some real big hitters this summer in the form of John Swift, who was our talisman. He's gone to West Brom. We thought he could do a bit better than West Brom, but there you go. We've lost Josh Laurent to Stoke, which is again a step up sort of, but still a bit sideways. And Andy Rinham-Hotter as well has gone to Cardiff. So 3 players that at various points in time were players of the season for Reading have gone. And so it was always going to be a summer of upheaval. But the surprising thing is we've managed to get points on the board nice and early by beating Cardiff last weekend. So yeah, reasons for optimism, but not many.
Yeah. Paul Ince, the manager, when he came in, I thought it was a very strange appointment. I don't think he's been in management for a long time. Personally, don't particularly rate him. How did he see? But he did seem to steady the ship end last season from the outside. Is that right, or was he just? Yeah,
honestly, Matt, it was such a saga. I mean, like, Reading do not do things in like a normal way ever. And after like weeks and weeks of our fans saying get the previous manager out, that was Veljko Paunovic, who led us to 7th place in his first season whilst the lockdown was in progress, and by all accounts the wheels spectacularly fell off the next. We sacked him a little too late, and then when we got in Ince as the replacement, we announced Ince in the same statement as we announced Veljko Paunovic going, and it was right at the bottom of the statement, and you could have missed it unless you were paying attention. But it was like, by the way, lads, he hasn't managed for 8 years, but now Paul Ince is here we were told it was an interim appointment, but everyone was thinking, right, if he keeps us up, the job's going to be his, because Reading are not a very attractive proposition for anyone at the moment managerially. So, and to be fair to him, he did just enough to keep us up. For whatever reason, the players seem to have bought into him. He's value for a really stupid soundbite I was the most famous one was in an interview not long after he'd been appointed. He came out in an interview and said he doesn't believe in physiotherapists, or he says he doesn't see the point in physios, or something like that. So he's proper old school, old school. And but yeah, I don't know. I think the majority of Reading fans are hoping he can repeat the trick this time, keep us up this year, and then maybe get in a more long-term manager at the end of the season. But he's here to stay for the time being. But yeah, he is what he is.
I suppose in a relegation fight, sometimes it's quite good to just go back to proper basics because of actually transfer business summer. We all sort of knew that we all thought think that Reading going to be in a relegation battle. Backs to the wall job, keep it simple, work hard, and I suppose Paul Ince is old school in that sense. That might work. That may be one of the thinking, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, under previous regimes, we've been accused of being a bit soft touch or a bit lightweight, and you know that's not even just on a character basis, but in terms of our players being made of Weetabix too. Like we're so prone to injury, and you know that's continued this season too. I think by the time we play you guys on the weekend, we just received word today that Ovie Ajari is out for 4 weeks. Yaku Mete, who's been one of the most consistent source of goals for us in recent years, he's out injured. Lucas Zhou's out injured. So we are lightweight, but then what Ince I think is trying to introduce now is that he wants to get in people who are fighters. And I was telling Mick yesterday how we're very, very close to confirming the signing of Naby Sarr, 6'6", former Huddersfield's absolute unit of a centre back. He's a scrapper. We've signed Sam Hutchinson on a free from Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, noisy neighbours, you lot. Well, not neighbours. They're not that close, but yeah. So he's really impressed people in pre-season, and he might be fit for the weekend. So, and we've signed a lad on loan from Porto who made his first appearance in our cup defeat this week. He's called Mamadou Loom. And again, he's like a big, strong defensive midfielder. So I think Paul Ince's ideal vision is we're going to like just play 11 defensive midfielders and hope for the best. But honestly, people like to see a bit of that because, like you say, we just want to see a bit of fight and passion. And it's going to be a tough season, but we're hoping we've got enough.
Yeah. I watched some of the game back from Cardiff. The Cardiff watched the first half an hour, 35 minutes. And it struck me that neither team were particularly bothered about defending to start with. It was very end-to-end, very progressive. Is that sitting to Paul Ince's ideas from last season as well? I mean, the Swansea game's famous from last season as well, where you were down and came back. Is that been a bit of a Paul Ince as well?
It's funny. We've had so many slow starts, and not just this season, but a couple of times last season. Like we just will not switch on for the first 10 minutes, and it's really cost us. And I don't know, in terms of how he set us up, the whole of pre-season we played with 5 at the back, which I guess is, safety first, making use of the personnel he's got available too, because we've got a ton of centre-backs now. In Tom Holmes and Tom McIntyre, the 2 Toms, we've got 2 academy graduates who are probably going to form the spine of the defence for a few years to come. So it's making use of what we got at the back, but it's more of a concentration thing more than anything. That I was at the Cardiff game and thought to myself, when we went behind early doors, I was thinking, right, I know which way this is going to go, which is why it was a real refreshing change, the fact that we're able to come back into the game. But I'll be honest, lads, I didn't think much of Cardiff.
No.
I know you've already got points against Welsh opposition this season, but Cardiff have signed like 15 odd players, and like Reading, they're just trying to get them to gel, because I think we've signed maybe pushing on 10 now. So we're just hoping it will click, But yeah, I think you can definitely get it as early on Saturday.
Interesting. We didn't start very well against Swansea, did we, the other week?
No, we didn't.
But possession to base team didn't really suit us initially. You've mentioned all the players are injured. Who should we look at? From an attacking point of view, you mentioned Zhou's injured, Mate is injured. Yep. Who is left to cause our defence problems?
Well, it's slim pickings up top, but it's probably going to be the veteran Shane Long that starts for us up top on the weekend. And everyone got very, very, very excited in Berkshire when he re-signed for us this summer, because every single transfer window for about the last decade, we've been linked to Long. It's like, is this the year he comes home? He was one of the last Reading players to get over 20 goals in a season, Shane Long. That was back in 2011. And we're not expecting him to score 20 this time around, but he converted a penalty against Cardiff. He looks really like tricky and clever up top. Like, he's still reasonably quick. He's, lost a bit of pace, but still quite mobile. The main thing I'm impressed with is he'll make like these little dummy runs or like put the defender off a bit, or just proper like footballing intelligence that comes as a result of playing in the Premier League for as long as he has. So I feel quite good about him leading the line. The other immediate goal threat we've got is the manager's son, Tom Ince, who, in a way that you can kind of expect if your dad's the manager, he looks really up for it. He's filling the void that John Swift's left behind in terms of just being someone we can rely on in the big moments. He's taken Swift's shirt number as well, number 10. He scored a brilliant goal against Cardiff, and I'll probably back him to be in and amongst it again at the weekend. So those are the two to look out for.
He has a fantastic record of scoring against us as well.
Yeah, he does.
I'll look up his stats but he always, when he played for Derby, I think he scored about 5 goals against us in like 3 appearances. And I think he scored for Stoke and all that against us.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. I didn't want to hear that.
At least Lucas Zhou's not here, because he always seems to score against us. When he was at Wednesday, every time they played us, it's like, yep, just put Lucas Zhou down on my bet. Yep, that'll come in. No
Lucas Zhou he's a real fan favourite in Reading. That when we signed him for 5 million from Sheff Wednesday, everyone was thinking, God, that's a lot to spend on a player that didn't really show it over a full season. But when we do well, it's invariably because of him. It's just the main problem with him is his injury records. Like, more often than not, we're waiting for him to get fit again. And it's a real shame because he's got all the physical attributes. He's big, he's strong, he's quick, he's got an eye for goal. So, it's a big loss. But in the meantime, we just got to hope we can do without him.
Just to stat you on Tom Ince, he scored 8 goals in 7 appearances against Rotherham. Plus 1 assist.
I think the majority of Reading fans would be delighted hearing that.
And he's never lost against Rotherham as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a stat and a half. Oh, God.
I wish not looked up now. Before I let you go, Jacob, if you give us if your score prediction, what do you think it's going to go down?
I said last night that I might be prone to change my mind, but actually, you know what? I do think it's going to be a score draw. We're due a draw this season. I think I was saying to Mick last night, it's a sort of game that if you're a Millers fan, you're thinking we can have Reading, and if you're a Reading fan, you're thinking we need to be picking up points against Rotherham. So for me, I think both of us are going to end up disappointed. Let's go for a 1-1 draw.
Yes. Get back to Saturday afternoon disappointing everybody. That's what it's all about. Brilliant. Thank you for jumping on and joining us, Jacob. If you want to check out your site, Elm Park Royals, wherever you find your podcast, get on them. Thank you very much, Jacob. Good luck for the rest of the
Take care. Yeah, you too, lads. But not good luck for the weekend. Just everything after that.
So. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much to Jacob for that one. I do enjoy these opposition reviews. We get lots of nonsense, and we've done our own researches through them as well. Didn't cheer me up, but it was research nevertheless. Let's go back to the Carabao Cup and sort of finish off this information from there. We were talking before we started recording, Mick, about Ollie Rathbone. And when we signed him, I knew at some point he was going to score by winning a tackle. And that's exactly what he's done against Port Vale. Let's forget about how bad Port Vale were in that moment, because that was terrible. But that's what Rathbone's all about. Ryan Cresswell said in commentary, I think, that he plays the Rotherham United way. Him and Lindsay are very similar in that way. And it was just a lot of fans. If Man City scored, I wouldn't be bothered. But for me, that's brilliant, that goal. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you ask somebody to sort of describe to you a typical Ollie Rathbone goal, that would be it, wouldn't it? You know? just pressing, and he got lucky. He got lucky. Poor defending. Great to see these teams playing out from back like they try. It's a right laugh, to be honest. Watching them do it, it's comedy gold, really. And hopefully there'll be a few more in the Championship doing the same thing. But yeah, typical Rathbone goal, typical of what you would expect from him.
Yeah. Will Roebuck says, who remembers who again we were talking about before, so I can't remember his goal against Crewe last season, which was all about him closing down. It's strange one, Daniel. We'll go back to we'll talk about Ollie Rathbone for 2 minutes. When we signed him, it wasn't exactly a plan. We signed him because we played against Rochdale, and he played very well for Rochdale. But he really does suit us down to the ground, and it's just strange how he wasn't on Rotherham's radar massively before that Reading friendly last season, which was crazy, really.
Yeah, I mean, that is why we signed him, isn't it? He was just so good against us for Rochdale that we just went, you know what, we need to have him. But I think he went under everyone's radar, really. You know, he came from Man United's academy and then joined Rochdale and just sort of got on with it at Rochdale. You know, I don't know the ins and outs, but there seems to be very little interest in him. Not to be disrespectful or anything, but he just sort of got on with his job at Reading and just at Rochdale, sorry. And yeah, played against us and we went, right, you're exactly what we want. You come in here. Rochdale, what do you want for him? And yeah, he's just took on the ethos of the club perfectly. From probably his first game that we saw him in, his pressing has been relentless. You know, and he's just everywhere all the time. Not in a sense of an headless chicken running about for the sake of it, but he knows the game. He knows when to press hard or just to push him a little bit. And I think it was him and Kelly who were pressing the Vale keeper, and you could tell the keeper didn't want it, so he's played it out to their defender, and Ollie's just gone, right, I can have this. He's gone in for challenge, caught the ball sweetly with his foot, and it's just gone towards goal, and it's gone in. And the cheek to try and give it as an own goal to begin with, it's like, no, that's Ollie's goal. That's his first goal this season. We're having that. Yeah, a few more of them in Championship when they're passing it round the back and they get caught out. I can see him bagging a few like that, to be honest.
Yeah. Port Vale playing out from back made me reminisce to last season, to be honest with you, because they can't do it against teams that press. I don't know why they're trying to do it against teams like us, Mick.
No, it's madness, isn't it?
It's crazy.
I mean, I think it was Crewe that did it the best. I mean, that was just the best thing we did against Crewe was just put it out for a goal kick.
Yeah.
It was like our own very own set piece. To put it out for a goal kick, they'll play it out front back, and we'll have it on the edge of 18-yard box. Happy days. It was better than a corner.
Well, yeah. Yeah, very good.
If it's rolling out for a corner, then get your foot on it, mate. Put it out for a goal kick.
Yeah. We could sit and talk about Ollie Rathbone for hours. In the same way we talked about Jimmy Lindsay against the Swansea game. Him and Rathbone are basically the same player. Which is lucky in a way, but I suppose it's by design, because if one of those gets injured, last time in the Championship we lost Jimmy Lindsay, and that was crucial to the season. If we had Ollie Rathbone to bring in, we wouldn't have been hurt as much, I don't think, or vice versa.
Not at all.
So it shows the strength and depth we've done. Shelley RFC says, "What about the build-up for the second goal? Second goal though, quality hoof boy. Yeah, long ball. Rotherham United strike again, don't they, Mick, with a second goal straight from Sam Allardyce's playbook? Yeah,
set piece as well, weren't it? You know, I don't know. The only worry is that we've used up all our completed passing at the end of October.
That is true.
In that one move, which is a bit of a worry, but it were great, excellent, nice to see, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of that. Depending on obviously who the opposition is and how they play. Obviously, against the likes of Swansea, we're not going to see that amount of the ball. But having said that, it'll probably end up still being the same area at pitch, just we won't have it. But yeah, excellent goal, good finish. But the build-up was very, very good, patient.
Yeah, Scott High was heavily involved in the little movement and goal, which I was quite impressed with. You can't read too much into performances against lower league opposition. I know it's only League One, but still, but it was impressive. The finish, though, Danny, from Chio, 2 goals in 2 games, added another 250 grand on his price tag. The finish to me it's a very different finish to the Michael Smith against Ipswich, but it was instinctive and quick. And in the same way, it stopped the keeper from getting any movement or predicting where it was going to go. And I didn't think Chio had that in his locker, to be honest with you. I may be downplaying him, but I didn't. In front of goal, he's lacked in the past, hasn't he? I thought that was a really clever, tidy, very good finish.
Yeah, Chio sort of got a rep last season for cutting in on his left, having a go from edge of 18 and scoring an absolute wonder strike. I think he did it against Gillingham, Sutton at Wembley, Donny, and then I think somebody else as well, but I don't know off the top of my head, just them 3 come to mind. But yeah, like you said, it were a very instinctive finish. Like, it wasn't really a striker's finish because he's toe punted it, but he's obviously had it in his mind of, right, I'm going to have a go here. And I think it is ever so slightly a revenge shot because only a few minutes before he got absolutely sliced by one of their players. Watching the replay, probably only a yellow, only just. It's like one of them where it's like if he takes more at man or he's a bit less inclined football, it'll be a red card. You know, if it goes in 2-footed, it's a red card.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit more of a revenge challenge there. And even commentators said the centre back's now looking at Chio back on his feet, going, "Oh no!" And funnily enough, it was the man marking Chio when he shot for goal and scored. So that might have a little bit to do with it. But like you said, very instinctive finish. He must have been working on it in training. And I think beating your man and getting the shot away is something we have worked on in training because in the Championship we need to check our chances, don't we? We might get very few chances during a game and make sure we take them and score from him. Like against Swansea, I think we had probably 3 or 4 big chances and scored one of them and got the point out. Same with Port Vale. I think we got, again, probably 5, maybe 6 big chances and we got 2 out of it. So it must have been something we've worked on. And I think it's a case of if you're in 6-yard box, have a go. Because, you know, in 6-yard box, it's harder to miss.
Well, yeah. No, it is very true. We'll come on to predictions team lineup in a minute. We'll talk about Chio as a striker at a later date when we talk about the Reading game. Like I said at the start, the last 10 minutes was needlessly not stressful. I don't think they hurt us really, and there was one opportunity. But the goal was completely avoidable. Number one, from a defensive point of view. And surprisingly, I thought Vickers could have done much. I only get them on one angle, but it looked like it sort of went under Vickers a little bit, which I was really surprised at.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get a hand to it at least. So it wasn't anything particularly powerful or anything like that. And it was avoidable. Defensively, I think we let ourselves down there. And obviously it put us under pressure for the last 10 minutes or so, or kind of put us under pressure. It takes away that cushion, doesn't it? But again, Vickers has not played for Lord only knows how long, a competitive game. And I think we ended up with 6 different central defenders, didn't we, last night, pretty much, as well. It is what it is. I cannot see us being that slack when it comes to league games defensively. Obviously, clearly there'll be mistakes made, obviously, but I don't think we'll allow that sort of opportunity as easily as we did last night, to be honest.
I completely agree, to be honest with you. Is there any other individual performance you want to talk about before we move on to the draw, and we'll cover that a bit more?
I'll say Georgie Kelly, even though he didn't score and he had a couple of chances to score, he looks dangerous in the air, doesn't he? Yeah. He just throws everything he's got at the ball, and I've seen in pre-season he got a couple doing that. And I think when his accuracy comes in from training and game time, he will be very deadly in the air in a completely different way to what Michael Smith was. Because Michael Smith could latch on to, your set piece or your corner or whatever and get the ball in the net. Whereas Kelly just throws himself at it and gets something on it and scores. And they're the sort of goals that you score late on in games where you just throw yourself at it and it cannons off whatever and it goes in. So that could be a real asset later in the season. And we're just starting to see that in competitive games now. So give it until, I don't know, December, January time, where the game's starting to come a bit thicker and faster. It could be a real asset to have. Just get Kelly on for 20 minutes, half an hour, gets to, 80 minutes, throws himself at the ball, cannons off his forehead, and we're winning 2-1. I can see it. I honestly can. I can see Kelly being a real match winner late on in games. I really can.
Yeah.
He plays centre forward a little bit like Richard Wood plays centre half, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's very much a wrecking ball, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
No. Richard Wood's the wrecking ball. George Kelly's the bulldozer.
Yes, that works.
That's the differential. The Irish bulldozer. I like that.
He's got some goals in his hands, that lad. Definitely.
Yeah, and if you listen to Moment True podcast, they talk about George Kelly being a replacement for Michael Smith, and you can sort of see that it's surprisingly physical. And you don't expect it from him. He wins headers. He won loads of headers last night. Loads of headers. Maybe his hold-up play's got a bit of work to do, but I think that composure will come with the more games he plays. He's still got a bit of the JJs from last season about him, where I think he's trying a little bit too hard in an occasion.
He's what I would say is he's absolutely streets ahead of where Michael Smith was when he came to our club.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Oh yeah.
So with that, bearing that in mind, comes
younger
6, 12
as well,
months time, and younger as well. Comes 6, 12 months time, he's got a bright future.
You have to remember as well, he's only completed one full game for Rotherham.
Yeah.
You know, for Gillingham, he played 15 minutes. For Swansea, probably 20 minutes. So he's only just managed a full 90. And he looks a lot better. Pre-season's done him really well. Yeah. So it's just all about just keeping him ticking over with minutes. I think wherever we can, we play him for as long as we can, and he'll improve very, very easily. Very, very easily.
Yeah.
And he's got one hell of a right foot on him. He just knows where the goal is. You know.
Yeah, he does. The negatives from Wednesday night are that Connor Washington and Peter Kioso both came off injured. Richie Barker saying that they're both stiffer than they expected on Thursday. And because we're playing, Ben won't like me saying this, because there's a shorter gap on the game from Wednesday to Saturday, it makes recovery times much more difficult, as intimated by Paul Warren and Richie Barker on many occasions. That leaves us really short. We'll come on to that in a minute. We'll come on to the Reading game in a minute. That's going to leave us short, top to be honest with you. But let's talk about the draw. Mandani mentioned it earlier briefly. Morecambe at home. Mick, me and you certainly didn't want you Wednesday. Wednesday was one I didn't want. I didn't want the circus of Michael Smith and Michael Headquist to take over. And that was the only reason I didn't particularly want him. I don't, that's it really. I don't mind a local derby, but that would have been a circus, wouldn't it? But anybody else I was happy with, anybody at home, crack on.
Yeah, I was hoping for the home tie, and as you pointed out there, the last thing I wanted was to have that shower tootling down the road to New York, because it would have been an absolute circus. The further we can keep away from them this season, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Just put it behind us now for a season. We can do that. I'm happy with that. I don't want to out to do with him, to be honest.
Yeah. The only downside, Danny, is that assuming Cole Stockton still plays for Morecambe, Cole Stockton's going to score for Morecambe. Nailed on. Oh, you're on mute, Danny.
I double clicked the button by accident. But yeah, it's nailed on. If you're of a betting persuasion, just lump Cole Stockton on to score any time. Put your quid bet on it, it'll come in. Guaranteed. It's like I said earlier with the Elms Royals, whilst they were on. It's guaranteed Lucas Joao's going to score against us. Probably nailed on that Tom Ince's going to score against us. Same with Cole Stockton when he comes here, he's going to score against us. So if you get a free bet, lump it on, can't lose.
Yeah. That is the week commencing the 24th, I think. No, it's week commencing the 22nd, sorry, of August. So, 2 weeks away. If we get through the third round, I think the third round's in November or something like that. There's a big gap between second and third round because of the World Cup, basically. Anything more to add on the Carabao Cup? I think we've extensively covered it, to be honest with you.
The fact we made 8 changes and still looked really good and a really solid lineup, I think that's a nice
5
thing.
debuts?
Five full debuts. It was Kelly's full debut, High's full debut, Peltier, Ricard, and Bramall, their full debuts, and all 5 did very well. But yeah, the full 8 changes, and you looked at the team sheet, and it's like, actually, you know what? That looks still really strong. We've changed nearly every position, and we still look really strong, which is great because we've got a lot of strength in depth, which is something we've not really had in the Championship over the last over the worn years, shall we call them. So now we've started to see that, and it really shows the ideology of this transfer window that we're just looking to improve the team where we can. We're not on about clearing out the players that we've got for big money or anything like that. We just want to keep them and only bring in people that improve the squad and not just bring in people to build up numbers, which is fantastic. We've not seen that for a while, have we? It's fantastic.
No. I hope you're not suggesting, Danny, that we've had a good transfer window.
Yes, I am.
Oh, my word. You just need to be careful with what you're saying here, mate.
I don't mind. Twitter's not a real place.
Yeah. On transfers, before we go further, Shelley FC, evening lads, any news, updates on the striker who we're close to coming to? Again, we're thinking it's Ashley Fletcher. That's where everything's going towards. Paul Warne said to Radio Sheffield that he would be basically surprised if he's not with us before Saturday. We now sit here on Thursday evening. Nothing's confirmed yet, but all the talk is that it's basically done. That has backfired in the past, but this doesn't seem like somebody who's got offers left, right, and centre, is what I would say. So I think we're just about there, Danny. Would does that sound fair?
Yeah, roughly nearly there, shall we say. It's interesting because when Warney spoke to the advertiser, I think their deadline for the paper is Tuesday to get it published for the Wednesday. He said, we've made the final offer, and if he don't accept it, he don't accept it, and if he does, happy days. And now we've rolled it around to Thursday, and he said, yeah, it's basically done. We just need to finalise it. So something has definitely picked up and changed there. I don't know whether it's the player's agent that's changed his mind and gone, right, you're the best option. That's fair enough. Or if the player's pushed it and gone, no, I want to go there, which Warney has said in the past, the player does really want to come here. And yeah, like you say, it's probably going to be Ashley Fletcher. I'd be surprised if it's the loan signing we were looking at from the Premier League because they're not really exploring loans at the minute. So yeah, we're slightly cross-fingered that it gets announced during the live show, but I don't think the club will be that kind to us. So I imagine we'll get a notification at about 9:10 saying that he's signed.
Yeah,
that won't surprise me. I'd be happy with it. I think it's an exciting signing. We'll cover it when it's signed, but potentially a really, really good signing. Yeah, moving forward, we'll cover the Morecambe game. We've got when's that? 2 weeks away. Yeah, we'll talk about the Morecambe nonsense when we get there. Because there's quite a lot of water to pass under the bridge between now and then, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on and move forward. Let's start the Reading preview with a ref watch. We have Stephen Martin as the referee. The last time he refereed us was at Barnsley at home in the COVID season. So there was no issues in that game, other than the fact it shouldn't have been played. But I don't think he can blame the referee for that one. That's anything of note, boys. I don't recall anything from that Barnsley game of any note. I've looked at these other games. I can't remember anything bad. So...
No, that's good. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's see how he performs. Hopefully, he's not the comedian that his namesake is, but you never know.
Yeah, let's hope not.
I'm sure he won't be. I'm sure he won't be.
It's always good when ref watch is short because it means
the
one for the Preston game will not be as short.
No.
So, a couple of stats on Reading. Our record against them recently, we already mentioned. A couple of players scoring lots of goals against us. We've only one win in the last 9 meetings against Reading. The last win was in 2015, the survival game at New York Stadium with Freckleton and Matt Derbyshire scoring the goals. A great New York night, one of the great New York nights that one. Mick, pointless stat. No, take away the Ben roll and tell me how stupid that was. Come on.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you wanted me to come up with a pointless stat. I can't. Yeah, well, different team, innit? We've got a different team. They've got a different team. The only thing that's same is the colours of shirts a bit same. That's it. So, yeah. I don't know what you want me to say on that. It's pointless stat, mate.
Yeah, that's all I've got for stats. And there's not many that cover us on Reading.
Good. I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah. So let's talk about how we think we're going to settle. Start going forward, because of the kind of Washington problem that cropped on Wednesday. We thought it was only a dead leg or something like that. And if it's only stiffness, that means it's not an injury like a muscle injury, which is good. But because of the short turnaround, feels very unlikely to be ready to start on Saturday, which is a problem with Tommy still being injured.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great, but we've still got Cheer to play up there. We've still got Georgie Kelly to play up there. So it's not the end of the world if this new lad comes in. That's another body to play up there. So yeah, it's not ideal. Of course, it's not ideal. To lose players to injury in a game of that sort of nature is always frustrating. I think there were a point at one stage on Wednesday night when we were a bit worried that Cheel might not get up as well. So yeah, it's not ideal, but I think it'll just bring forward Georgie Kelly's full home debut. I can't see Connor Washington playing if he's got a dead leg. Not with the tight turnaround that we've got. So it's not ideal, but we're covered at the moment. For me, anyway, I think we are.
Yeah, and that's the question. Maybe if he signs Friday, he'll not start. He certainly won't start, but he could very well be on the bench to come on for 20 minutes, so if needs be. So there is that as well. Danny, how big a game is this? Because the pre-season favourites are essentially Rotherham, Reading, and I think Birmingham to go down. There were the dead certs for everybody. So on paper, by pre-season prediction, this is a huge game, much like the Wickham game was 2 seasons ago. Do you see it that way, or is it just get on with games, see what happens in season?
That's a great question. How big is this game? I think for the time being, it's just you play who's in front of you. I don't think it really becomes big games until we get an idea of the proper league table, when it starts organising itself. I think at the minute, it's just get as many points on the board as we can during early stages when the teams that we're playing against are still gelling together. Yeah, I mean, just points on the board to do nicely at this point in the season. If this game was being played, say, in late March, early April time, it'd be a massive game. Because, like you say, it's us, Reading and Birmingham that seems to be everybody's bottom 3 bar around, which is weird. And if that's late March, be a massive game. But for the time being, we don't know. Reading could go on a 14-game unbeaten run. We don't know. I mean, we beat Plymouth on opening day, and then they went back 18 games unbeaten. So that proved to be a huge result. But yeah, I mean, on paper, it's a big game. But at this point in the season, it's just another team that's in front of us. Just play our own way, press Reading like we did pressing Swansea, and we should be okay.
Will Roebuck says this will be one of those games come to the end of the season when we look and go, we lost to Reading. Yeah, possibly. Could possibly be. Mick, I assume you're echoing the same as Danny, and I certainly am, that it's too early to say must win.
Of course it is.
Anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it is. We need to beat everybody. That's the bottom line, isn't it? So we need to go into every game wanting to win the game, and this one is no different. We've probably got a better chance of winning this game than, say, for example, Watford. Obviously, Reading are obviously in a bit of disarray, clearly with what's been going off there. All the big players, big names leaving, and Paul Ince, like we've discussed earlier, is trying to cobble together a squad. So it's an ideal time to play them. So yeah, we just need to be at it from minute one, and I think if we are, I think we should get through the game reasonably comfortably, personally.
Yeah.
But I said this on their podcast last night. You know, I could say that, but you've got to caveat that by the fact that we've played one league game this year. So
Yeah.
you can only base what you think on that one game. Play like that, we'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I agree. John Mill in the comments says about the referee Steve Martin. He just says good luck, which is worrying. We'll see how that goes.
Cheers, John. Thanks for that, mate.
Danny, assuming Washington isn't fit, which we assume is not going to be fit, are you happy with Georgie Kelly and Chio to start top if needs be, the Irish duo?
Oh, the Irish boys, yeah, I'm 100% happy with that. You saw Chio and Kelly played together against Port Vale. They seem to have just a natural understanding between each other. That might stem from the Gillingham game, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm happy with Ogbenny and Kelly up front. Be a nice full home debut for Kelly, and I'm sure we will try and suck the ball in the net for him as well. Especially if they're shooting towards the home end in the first half, we will be willing him to score.
Yeah,
probably more than KO'd last season. You know, we were willing him to score for the whole season. Then he got it against Wimbledon. Now it's Georgie Kelly's turn. We're going to will him to score in the championship, and it will happen.
It'll go crazy. You know, if Georgie Kelly scores, it'll go crazy, won't it?
It's like, I know we get criminal records if we go on the pitch these days, but we need to make an exception for Georgie Kelly, because if he scores, it'll just go nuts. Won't it? It'll go absolutely nuts.
It's mad how it.
We'll flip that. We want him in the stand with us.
Yes,
that's it. We'll change it.
It's mad how the lad's become a cult hero at the club, having played 124 minutes for us over about 15 games.
Yeah,
and yet it's bizarre, isn't it? Bizarre.
It's football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it is, but you listen to him and he seems such a lovely, likeable bloke anyway, doesn't he? You know what I mean? So,
have you guys read the article in the Irish Times that he that he did the interview for, where he said he was ready to pack in football and pursue his university career before signing for Rotherham? And I think the love that he's got from us, just as a fan base, and how welcoming we've been to him. Like I say, he only played 15 minutes last season. What did he say, about 120-ish total?
According to the RUFC, it's 124 minutes he's played.
Yeah, and to be already so loved at a football club, I bet he's thinking it was the best decision of his life to come here. And maybe not for the heat waves that we've had this summer. But yeah, as soon as he scores at New York, that's it. 10-year contract on the table. Yes, please.
Yeah. There are people listening to this going, shut up about Georgie Kelly. I know, but
I love him, he's ace.
Yeah, it's just great. Moving backwards, because we started at the front. The midfield three, Danny, we would normally say, it picks itself. That's Barlas, Wiles, Rathbone. But it doesn't really, because Jamie Lindsay was sensational against Swansea. Ollie Rathbone was very, very good against Port Vale. You would say Barlas Wiles probably does pick itself. But then there's a huge question mark over number 3. Scott Hyde had a decent game midweek as well. There's big question marks with the third midfielder's going to be. Mick's shaking his head.
I am shaking my head.
Oh.
It's I don't know. I mean, I can see why we'd bring Rathbone in if we're looking to press Reading early on and not be as meaty, shall I say, in midfield in terms of, because Jamie Lindsay loves the tackle, doesn't he? But it's more of the defensive sort of tackle rather than the pressing sort of tackle, which is what Ollie Rathbone sort of does. Like I said, with Barlasser and Wiles, with Wiles running the left side, I can see Wiles doing that. But then Scott Hyde did it really well yesterday. So would Warney stick with the team from yesterday or go similar to Swansea? This is why we had the Moment of Truth podcast. We get to have a look at what it's like to be a football manager, and we've got the dilemma right in front of us. We had this at the start of last season. We could not pick the midfield three for the life of us, and every time we tried, we got it wrong. Every time. I don't know. It's a dilemma, isn't it? We've got 5 class midfielders, potentially one more on the way before the end of the window. I'd hate to be in Warney's office. They must have they must waste a tree's worth of paper just picking the midfield.
Yeah.
But I'd say maybe Barlasser is the one there because he's ever so slightly further back than the more advanced two. I'm going to say Lindsay and High, I think, because they push forward more, or at least they don't need to be told to push forward as much as Rathbone and Wiles do.
So you go Barlasser, High, and
Lindsay. Yeah.
Ooh, that is a big change. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It'll be wrong. So
It will, yeah, probably. Nick, are you going same as Swansea?
Absolutely. Why would I find it incredible that you'd even consider changing it. I really do. I mean,
Rathbone was excellent against Port Vale. Scott High was very good against Rochdale.
That's another dilemma to the list.
I'll be honest with you. I don't see how there's any way that Jamie Lindsay can be dropped after his performance in the Championship against a quality Championship side. There's just absolutely no way at all. Dan Barlasser's not going to get dropped because he's the one that pulls the strings in there. And if he's not pulling the strings, the person that is Ben Wiles. So for me, it literally picks itself. And yeah, Ollie Rathbone's played really, really well the other night. He got himself a goal. He pressed really well. He did everything that was expected of him, and he did it very, very well. But I'm sorry, it's just Jamie Lindsay's shirt for me at the moment. And I certainly wouldn't be looking at dropping Wilesy despite his attempted dive against Swansea that he forgot the one to be near him. For me, it picks itself. That's my view.
Okay, fair enough. Chris Anderson agrees with you. No need to change anything from the Swansea game, obviously.
So we've got Mick's going orthodox, and I'm going unorthodox. Right, sound.
yeah, exactly.
So imagine yours will be Rathbone and Wiles, won't it, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. Good fun. Let's go fun. What's interesting, we had a lot of talk pre-season about vice captaincy. Not that it particularly matters, but let's talk about it. Dan Barlas took the armband against Port Vale. So I wonder if that's a sign that he is essentially vice to Woody. Don't know. I don't know who else was missing from the pitch that could have had it, if that makes sense. I think everybody else could have had it was on the pitch. But there you go. A bit irrelevant, but still, we like to talk about these kind of things. Russ Vernon says the first time he's agreed with Mick on a podcast. What's that with Mick?
Russ, you said you were my mate.
S6 Miller says on Georgia Kelly, she was sat with Georgia Kelly in the lounge last week, and they were saying he's loving it here. Yeah, doesn't always go well for new signings, but it has.
If you're there again, tell him to come on the podcast. There you go.
Yeah, we'll have him on podcast. We'll love him on. So moving further back, well, sort of further back, but class wing backs. Kyoso's probably out injured, Mick. So just Wes Harding in slots in there. You could put LT in there, maybe.
Why would you when you've got Wes Harding?
You don't want to be, and again, this is a tough thing to say, and this playing devil advocate a bit, because Reading aren't Swansea, and you don't have to be as compact all the time. Could you go a bit more adventurous with your right wing back? Because Wes Harding's solid as a rock, but he's a right back, so
he can get forward. He can put a ball in the box, though.
He can.
So I have no issue with that. If you're going to be adventurous, I'd be looking at Will Roebuck's question in the comments there. If you're going to be adventurous down the left and go for Cohen Bramall instead of Fergie. But now Wes Harding's a perfect replacement. Well, he's not a replacement. Kyoso's a replacement for Wes if Wes gets injured for me. So, yeah, again, straightforward in that position.
Yeah. Will Roebuck does say, the comments disappeared. Will Roebuck mentions about putting Bramall or Ferguson left-hand side. Again, Fergie was outstanding against Swansea, Danny. Bramall is very exciting, but if anybody's listened to the commentary and watched back from Wednesday night's game, he did have some dodgy moments. Ryan Cresswell was on commentary, I wouldn't say highly critical, but was very honest in his feedback and sort of saying that he's got a lot of work to do. And that's maybe a slight concern, but he's rapid and he's just exciting, isn't he?
Yeah, though it was his first start, and he's keen to impress. in it, so it could be a little bit over trying. But like you said, the talent is there. It just needs to apply it effectively. But for me, it just depends on how we want to attack Reading, really. If we want to bomb down the left-hand side and kill them with pace, go for Bramall on the left-hand side. But if we want to be a bit more, reserved about it, get the ball in the box from the left-hand side, but have a little bit more of that defensive security, if you like, play Ferguson there. And I think we will probably start with Fergie, just to make sure we don't concede early on, but also to get it down the left-hand side, get balls in the box. And if we've got Kelly getting his nut on it in the box, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got people who can all of them can put really decent balls in the box. Some of Bramall's crossing was decent on Wednesday. Chris Anderson says he would go hard with Ferguson. No, it's a change if the game opens up. That's when Bramall comes on. Yeah, potentially initially he might be the guy come on with 20 minutes left against tired legs to start with. Possibly. Back three, Mick. We started on Tuesday with Peltier, Hall, and McCart. And I don't know if you noticed, we saw one of them cross-field passes from Jamie McCart. It went left to right, did it, Danny? If you saw it, it went. It's a real thing. It's cross-field ball. Who would you go, Mick? Because that's obviously other than Hall. Hall did change positions. So it was a complete change to the Swansea game. So
I think. For me, the only question really at the moment is who's going to play that right-sided position. I think Woody and Humphreys did plenty enough to maintain their place against Swansea. Either Grant Hall or Peltier, I'm not sure which. That's entirely down, I would think, to fitness. So I can see him sticking with the same back three that he started the Swansea game. But I don't know. But certainly Wood and Humphreys for me are on that team sheet.
Yeah. I thought Hall had a good game on Wednesday. And again, we're talking about League One, so can't take too much from it. But Hall looked like Richard Wood, to be honest with you. He looked in control. He looked steady. We need to see him against the likes of Reading and Preston and Cuba and whatnot. But the start Hall's made has been very impressive for me.
Yeah, it has. And to say he's on loan, it's the last year of his contract. You never know. He could be playing this well to try and earn something at the end of this season. But that's a while. I'll have to wait and see about that. Yeah. But yeah, I think when we mentioned Humphreys as well, he played really well to say he was on the left-hand side against Swansea. And I think it was down to our friend who gave the insight from the Belgian leagues. He plays better when he's got that experience next to him. And if you've got Wood and Hall next to you, you're all right, aren't you? But at the same time, Humphreys has got the pace that maybe Wood and Hall don't have, being a little bit older. So it's sort of a very cohesive back three. Hall knows his job, Woody knows his job, Humphreys knows that they've got his back in terms of meter defending, but he's got their back in terms of if they get caught out higher up the pitch, which we've seen Woody do that a couple of times. But I'm with Mick on this one. Same back three against Swansea. Don't change it between the first game and your second game. Keep it like that until you have to make changes. Whether it's through injury or someone's had a stinker, for example.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say with Humphreys as well, not only has he got Richard Wood on one side, he's also got Shane Ferguson on the other. So there's about 6 million years worth of experience surrounding him. So he's in an ideal. He's played in an ideal position there to really start to progress as a player.
Yeah,
and he has got some talent. That lad is quite clearly got some talent.
Or you could see McCart go in left hand side. And Humphreys go to right hand side. So we do know Humphreys is right footed. That just gives you that extra bit of balance, doesn't it? But did McCart play the full 90 on Wednesday? I think so. He's then less likely to start. Don't know. Phantom's going to be fun. Harvey Kelwick says he would go Peltier, Wood, and Humphreys. So that'll be a swap out Peltier for Hall from the Swansea game. Will Roebuck says he thinks the fact that Woody was almost fully rested puts Woody back in the back three before Saturday. Fair enough. to be honest with you. And this is a very good quick one. I assume Victor's back in for the
Yeah.
goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Has to be. Yep, that's fine. There we've picked 11, just about, I think. I don't know, to be honest.
All I'll say is if anyone wins a free pint from Fannel, please tweet us the picture of you showing off your 11 out of 11 because somehow you've managed it.
Yeah.
Because I'd be happy if I get 8 from my lineup, in all honesty.
Yeah. In terms of Fannel, Mick, I'll let you know the clamping down on people's addresses and where they're claiming from.
Way.
Somebody put something on, I think on Twitter, something that somebody had 20,000 miles for the first game of the season. So they're clamping down on people cheating. And Mick.
I don't know what you're on about. What are you saying?
Mileage is going to change on that one.
Well,
unlucky. Score predictions for the Port Vale game. Nobody got it right. Mick and Ben said 2-1. Me and Danny said 3-1. Close, but don't count.
Didn't it finish 2-1?
I thought it did, yeah, but let's not get bogged down in accuracy.
Mick and Ben said 2-0, sorry. Me and you, Danny, said 3-1.
We got the goal from Vale, so it's a bit closer, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. So we'll go predictions for this one. Ben's obviously not here to predict, so he can't get this one wrong. Mick?
I was obviously asked this question on the Reading podcast, and I went 2-1 Rotherham. The more I think about it, I was going to change my mind and go 2-0. However, I had neglected to remember that that Ince is playing for them. So I think I'm going to stick with 2-1.
Okay.
With Ince to score for Reading.
Yeah. Everybody put your money on Tom Ince to score, by the way.
Yeah.
Danny?
Again, I'm in the same boat. I think I was a bit happy when I saw Lucas Rao was out, so that's one out. But then you've got Tom Ince, so Reading are effectively nailed on to score. It's probably a must not lose just to keep points ticking over. I think early doors of the season, keep momentum going. So I'd be happy with a 1-1, but I don't know. I reckon we could sneak a 2-1, to be fair.
Oh, well, like it. I'm going to positive and say 2-0. I said Inter's not going to score. We're going to finally stop him this time. Harvey Kelwick says 1-0. John Morell says 1-1. Chris Sanderson says he's going to go for 1-1 and Tom Ince to score for Reading, obviously. Sean Green says 3-0 and S64 Miller says 2-0 with Georgie and Chio to score. Yeah,
I agree with Georgie scoring. I'm going to keep saying this every game until he actually does.
Until he does.
Yeah. But I don't know. Every time it's like, I don't know, I get a feeling that Georgie could bag one. And against Swansea, he very nearly did. Against Port Vale, he very nearly did. So, might be third time lucky.
Getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll score and referee will give a free kick on goalkeeper or something. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yes, that'll definitely happen. And we want to give a shout out for Kimmy Park doing the away days. They raise money for essentially. Danny, do you want to do this bit?
Yeah, thank you. So Kimmy Park have raised a lot of money for Rotherham Hospice, and they very, very, very kindly gave some money to the podcast to support what we're doing here. And so just giving it back to them to say thank you. And also I'll be running some of these buses, so you can come on to buses and say hello to me if you want. I may not be sober, just as a pre-warning. So we're going to Preston on Tuesday for 16. QPR, I know that's very expensive, but price of diesel and all of that sort of stuff. But at least it's not as much as the tickets they're charging, because they're absolutely astronomical. So please come and join us for that. Sunderland is technically my birthday away day. And I've tried my absolute best to try and get a keg from Chanterbury of Mighty Millers. And they've said they will be back in stock. So to give them a ring the week before so I can get one, so that'll be fantastic. And then, of course, Sheffield United are for only £9. Reason we're running that one is apparently the trains are going to be a little bit of a nightmare, and with the trams if you're coming from the opposite end. Most secure way as well, if you don't want to have any trouble after the game, is to jump on a coach with us. They do run from Kimmy Park. the pub, and we also drop into town and get picked up just outside where Gala Bingo used to be. So if you fancy an away day, just message David Scrivens, join the Facebook group, tweet us on Twitter, and yeah, come and join us for a jolly.
Yeah. No points guaranteed, is all I'll say.
Yeah, there needs to be that little asterisk at the bottom saying does not guarantee points.
Yeah. And don't forget, Saturday after the game, we will be doing another instant reaction. That'll be on YouTube, 6-7 o'clock Saturday evening. To make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to see that. It'll be hot, that one. We are going to be right in the sun during that one as well.
You're up shirtless, yeah? No.
If you can get
on afterwards.
If you can get Ben on shirtless, that'd be all right. That might get we might get some new female viewers on his abs.
You never know. You might get some new male viewers. You never know.
Yeah. No, whatever. Yeah.
Male, female.
That's my age coming out there.
You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Whichever. We'll have to see if we can get him to do it.
Yeah.
Good
Graham Holton with my favourite prediction so far: 2-0 to the Millers with a Tommins own goal.
Like that.
Ticks all the boxes like we like to do on this show. Please do subscribe to YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're listening to it. Please do subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. We were up in the charts in the iTunes podcast charts in Sweden, Japan, and Ireland, I think. US and England. So you've all been listening abroad and everything else. So thank you very much for doing so. Give us a 5-star rating. If you've enjoyed it, like I said, keep an eye out for the instant reaction. We're going to do something on the Preston game. I don't know whether me and Mick will do a watch along with it because it's on Sky, or whether we'll do like a Twitter space or some nonsense like that. I'm not sure yet. We will try and do something after the Preston game and see how it goes going forward. Chris Sanderson says, updates on the superstitions, Sweden's shirt or back to the Millers trip. I don't know. It's going to be very hot on Saturday, innit? And to wear that Sweden shirt, I don't know.
It melts.
It will melt. The number behind the curtain, the number on the back. I wore it to the Ipswich game when I first wore it, and the number 9 on the back stuck to me seat. So I've had to wear a shirt underneath it because I can't wear it in the car because it just sticks. I got number 9 in the back of my car, so I've got to wear a shirt underneath. And because it's going to be like 30 degrees, I'm not sure I want to wear 2 layers on Saturday. So we are undecided on that one. But if I don't wear it and we lose, we know it's lucky then, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, all I'll say is that I wore the classic home shirt and we drew. I wore this whilst I was listening to the game because I wasn't actually at the game and we won. So all I'm saying is when I'm not at a game, yellow shirt until we lose, and then whatever game we're at, classic home, classic away. It's a winning formula, I'm telling you.
Or you're just not allowed to go anymore.
Yeah, all that.
We'll find out about that on Saturday. So yeah, thank you all for listening, tuning in, getting involved. We will see you all Saturday night for the instant reaction, Sunday evening live on YouTube for the review, full review, and a preview of Preston with a podcast out Monday morning, as it always is. Danny, it's been a pleasure to have you back with us. Let's go sit in front of a fan for a bit because it's red hot.
Yeah, I've had my fan on for the whole podcast, to be fair. And I'm still not cool. He's just blowing warm air at me. But yeah, always a pleasure. At least it's not 40 degrees.
Very true. This is a bit cooler. Mick, it's a pleasure, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, see you Saturday. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! Mule with it, Wood's got around the back, and Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it, it's done!